and welcome back to You Can Draw. My name is Miss Maria at the Tarpon Springs Public Library, and today we're going to start a series about how to draw animals. The first animal that we're going to draw is the elephant. Some of the supplies that you'll need are a piece of paper or a sketch pad like this one, a few pencils, and a few erasers. All right, go ahead and gather your materials that you need. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit closer so we have a close-up on our drawing. All right, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is lay out the shapes of the elephant to ensure that we have enough space on our page. Let's start with a circle for his head, a line down for his trunk, his ear. Now, none of this has to be perfect. We are just making shapes. And a big circle for his body. Now let's start with the legs. We do a circle, circle right here, another circle here, and another oval circle here. Now some lines for his legs, little creases, like so, and circles for his feet. And last but not least, the tail. Let's make this head a little bit bigger, and there's ear. And let's draw out his trunk. Like so. Now that we have positioned our elephant the way that we like it with the shapes, let's try to make sure that we have everything cleaned up with the eraser. This will ensure we don't have any lines in our drawing. We can still see the elephant, but we don't have all those lines. Now, let's get started with shaping our elephant. We will start with his head. And connect his trunk, as so. Just make some lines. And there's some lines for his chin. Now let's create his eye. Small little circle for his eye. And make it a little defined. Draw out the ear. Remember, you can stop the video at any time to ensure that you're following along. Start with his feet. So. Line here, a line on this side to create his feet and his legs. Start with his back leg, a little bent, base of his foot. Now you'll see I'll add some extra lines
That is for the shading that we will do later on in the video. And let's connect his body, and there you have it. Basic elephant. Now at this point, if you don't want to continue, you can stop right here, and you have a perfectly beautiful elephant. We are going to continue adding some more features to the elephant, as well as shading. First, let's erase our lines so we have a clean drawing. All right, let's start with his face. We are creating detail to ensure that the elephant comes to life. We'll start with some simple lines on his trunk and on his face. Just making some lines under his eye. And above his eye as well. Small crease. Small lines, light lines. And remember, you can use the eraser at any point. Now I'm just seeing how far apart the lines need to be. And let's start with his ear. Create a fan effect. Just hold your pencil ever so slightly. Don't push down too hard. Just have a little pressure towards the top of the ear. Again, very light pressure towards the edge of the ear, and just lines. Just lines. Like such. Tight lines on his trunk. And we do a little bit of a shade here for the shadow. And some more lines. this point, I grabbed a darker pencil just to create a little bit more detail and effect on his face. Now, if you don't have different types of pencils, you can use a regular pencil and just press down a little bit harder when creating effects. Just give it a little bit more definition. Now here we're just going to make some dark lines to give it some depth. And just shade a little bit towards the bottom to create a shadow effect. Some more light lines on the ear. Just creating a little bit more texture on his ear. Now I'm going to grab my dark pencil and create a shadow effect on the ear. Now if you don't have a dark pencil, you can use a regular pencil and just press a little bit harder. Just fill all of this in. Now you can take your time with this. Creates a shadow effect, just like this. Now I'm going to make some lines, some dark lines for his leg. And on the other side, creating a shadow effect. And take your time. And of course, have fun. Another shadow here. Now these are just all different lines and shapes. And when they come together, they create a beautiful drawing. A little more shading on the foot of his leg. Add some creases. And here we're going to add a little bit more shadow. Since this is the back leg, there's a little bit more shadow on this leg. Start with the final leg. A little shadow here at the crease. And towards the back of the leg and the foot. I added some lines here at the crease. Now let's do his tail. A little swerve like that. A little dark at the end. And as you're coming up, lighter and lighter. Less pressure. Now, let's create some effects with some lines on the body of the elephant. So I add some lines here. Again, you can press down on your pencil, or if you have a dark pencil, go ahead and use that. And just some lines. Here we're going to do some light lines and more like a crisscross. This will come in handy later on when we're shading. Alright, now we have this shading complete. Let's add a little bit more definition. Lightly with your pencil, just create some lines like this. And do a little circle, half a circle. Ever so slightly. A little bit more darker on this side here. A little fan effect. See, with just a few shapes and lines, we can create detail by using dark and light shadings. A few more lines here. A little dark line on the top of his back. And now we're going to do some light lines. A little darker here. and a few light lines. Now at this point, I'm just going through the entire drawing to see where I can add some more texture. Now I use my finger, just like this. You can use your thumb or your finger and just press down to smudge it together to create a shadow and shading effect. At this point, I would just touch up a few areas with my pencil to ensure it's complete in how I'd like the elephant to look. At this point, I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to erase certain spots. Give it a light effect. And to brighten up the page. Like so. Now if you don't have an eraser like this one, you can use the back of your pencil that has an eraser. And just make tiny shapes to give it a little bit more depth and perspective on your drawing. And just lightly make some lines like that. And I like to erase the outside of the drawing from any smudge marks. Now all you have to do is sign your drawing and date it. That way you remember when you completed this drawing. I hope you had as much fun as I did drawing this elephant. Keep drawing, and remember, you can draw.